I'm at etrailer. If you have a 2025 Ram 1500 and you're really just trying to throw something back here, just get maybe a little bit more traction in those snowy situations, or you're just trying to stay legal in your state because you have to have some sort of traction device on hand, then the Titan Chain rolling tire chains are going to be a great option for you. So let's check them out. And we're going to have this on tire size 275, 70, R18. Now this will fit a variety of other sizes. That's just the size we have today. And we're also going to have this on the rear axle as what the manual recommends. Now, if you're not sure if this is going to fit your vehicle, you can actually plug in your vehicle's information into our fit guide to find the right one for you. But now we can take a closer look at the specs of these chains. So first up, these are going to be made from a low carbon steel. So they're going to be more of a softer metal, which means they might not last as long as some more premium chains, but they're going to be softer, so they will provide you more of a smooth ride. What's also going to provide you a smooth ride is going to be the fact that these are roller links, so they might not have any hard edges to them, but they will roll right over the environments that you're driving over. And they're going to be Class S. What's nice about Class S is you won't find too much resistance with them. They'll still give you a little bit of traction, but they're going to have plenty of space to sit inside your wheel. So if you have any larger chains, a lot of times they could make contact with something back here, whether it just be the well itself or some of your suspension. And we're going to have this ladder pattern design. With this ladder pattern design, that's going to give you more traction when you're stopping and starting. Now these chains are going to come in a set of 2 in this pretty light duty bag we have here. That's okay because these are some pretty light duty chains, so they shouldn't tear this up too much. But if I'm being honest, I'd actually recommend investing in a tote instead, because with this bag, it's going to be pretty hard to get those chains back in there, and that's just because they are a little springy. With a tote, you have a little bit more room to spare. Now, I'd also recommend investing in a rubber tensioner, because what's nice about this is it's going to constantly apply tension to your chains, so you don't have to worry about them loosening up as you drive. Because what happens a lot of times with chains is, as you're driving, they're going to shift around, and once they shift around, they usually loosen up some. And what this is going to do is it's just going to constantly apply tension to them so they don't loosen up too much and make contact with your suspension. In my opinion, I think this is an okay option if you're just looking for something to give you just a slight bit more of traction, or you live in a state that requires you to have a traction device, since this does get pretty compact. Now, if you are looking for something that is going to give you more traction, then I'd recommend checking out the Koenig K-Summit tire chains. Keep in mind, this is going to be a much more premium tire chain, so it's going to be at a much higher price point as opposed to something like this, just for those emergency case scenarios. Now, if you are curious to see what this installation looks like, just stay tuned and we'll walk you through the process. To begin the installation, I like to grab some gloves, just make this a bit easier. And then once you lay out your chains, we're going to be just checking for if they're damaged or if anything's kind of out of whack. Now, if you are doing this for the first time, I recommend staying home trying this out, because you don't have to try to figure this out on the side of the road in the middle of a blizzard. But what we're looking for is making sure, like I said earlier, nothing's damaged, everything looks good. And these hooks we have at the very end are facing up, so they're away from our tire so we don't damage anything. Once we've checked that, we can come over to the center of these chains. I'm going to move mine back a little bit, and then I can start to drape this over the tire itself. Now, when you're doing this, we're going to want to make this even, so you don't want to fit that it's going to be hanging low like this. I actually want to adjust this so both sides are going to be the same. And once I've done that, I can kind of fix the ends up a bit. So I want this to be a little bit easier to grab once I make my connections. Speaking of those connections, I like to start with the back, since this is going to be the more difficult side. Now, since we have a truck, we have plenty of space underneath here to work. It still will be a little tight. But what we're trying to do is put these metal blocks through this channel right here. Now, this might take you a few attempts because we want to make sure this feels pretty good back here. It's tight, but we don't want it too tight where we're not going to have an even fit on both ends, or these won't sit well on our tire. And the front side is going to be the same process. Just sticking those blocks through this channel. Try to get this as tight as possible. Now, afterwards, I'm just going to come back through, kind of pull on it some, make sure this feels good. And it does feel pretty decent. It is a little loose though. And something that's going to help out with that will be a rubber tensioner. This is also going to keep tension on these chains as you drive, so you don't have to worry about anything loosening up on you. The way I like to put this on is going to be in a star pattern and with the hooks facing out. You want those hooks facing out just so you don't puncture anything on your tire, so it stays good. Afterwards, just going to check it over, make sure that's pretty even, and then give it another pull test to make sure everything looks good. And then you repeat that process on the other side. Once you got both chains on here, I recommend either backing up or pulling forward some, just to make sure nothing's shifting too much and you still have a good fit. And if you do, you can take it out for a ride. But that was just a look at the installation and some of the features of the Titan Chain Roller Link tire chains on our 2025 Ram 1500. I'm Matt, thanks for watching.